I'd like to call the meeting to order. So welcome to the Wednesday, May 13th, 2026 meeting of the El Sobrante Municipal Advisory Council. We are an advisory council which is appointed by the Contra Costa Board of Supervisors to provide citizen feedback on areas relating to unincorporated El Sobrante area of District 1. Supervisor John Joya. And yeah, so we'll get going. Ronnie, do you want to start the roll call?
Yep. Tom Lang.
Here.
Jim Herman.
Excused absence.
George Cleveland.
Excused absence.
Jed Hart.
Here.
I'm trying to do this by memory. Sorry. There's so many.
You guys are not East Richmond, aren't you?
Tom Owens.
Here.
Dr. Melinda McLean. Maybe running late. Randy Lloyd. Mickey Norris. Terry Edlinger. Cool.
So it looks like we have a quorum.
Yep.
All right. Tom, would you be willing to lead us to the Pledge of Allegiance?
As we do the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, Ronnie, treasurer report.
So sitting at $3,000.
I had a look at this. They look fine to me. Anybody else see any
I didn't
issues?
see any corrections, but I'm still gonna make a plea that Ronnie, you print them out for us. Somehow, some way, get them to us so we can have them to look here.
So do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve. as
Okay,
presented.
okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, there we go. So now we start our round of presentations. What I'd like to do, Ronnie, is maybe have the sheriff's office first.
Okay.
So Lieutenant Fitzgerald, if he needs to get on his way, I can do so. Yeah, Lieutenant Fitzgerald, go ahead.
Good evening. Apologize, I was not here for the last meetings, way between classes. But to kind of give you an update for April, you guys had a total of 660 calls per service, which generated a total of 65 reports. Some of the things to note, there was 2 auto burglaries. There's a recovered stolen vehicle, also a stolen vehicle. 1 vandalism. That kind of give you a little bit of a trend over the last like 3 months since I wasn't here to give some of the statistics. It's kind of been like the burglaries, your vandalisms, your thefts have all just kind of been like 1 a month. So there hasn't been a real take in anything in one particular month. Just kind of been like one prime of each of those topics. So any questions for me regarding this?
Yeah, so last meeting, so that would have been the April meeting, there was a question about something that probably would have happened in March in the Hilltop area. It was it's not in the minutes, so it's hard for me to give you the details. But apparently there was some sort of serious incident. One of our council members wanted to know about that.
Okay. You have my card, right, with my email?
Yes.
If it comes up, and if you just want to email me and I can dig into it and get back to you.
That'll work. Yeah, thank you.
What do you remember from last meeting, what that was?
I'll have to go back to the video.
North Cleveland, up near the graveyard there, across
Rolling
the street.
Yeah, we keep talking, we're gonna piece it together. Our collective brain might remember.
I think by the time we iterate, probably would have all gone through it.
Our great.
Heavenly award.
Yeah.
I think I'll ask George and send you an email.
Yeah, sure. Any other questions? Yes.
I have one.
Let's see, we'll start first with Nikki, she had her hand up first, then we'll
Yeah,
go.
I'm just wondering if you have any, do you deal at all with any of the traffic issues or car accidents?
No, so that's CHP.
Or there's some problems with some today, another one?
Jen, we do the council members for.
Go ahead, Jen.
Jen, go ahead.
Yes, I have a question that's mostly as a member of the public, I suppose. So on my street, there is a dog named Spicy that has been chasing people, stopping people from walking down the road with their animals and whatever. And a number of neighbors have called probably 36 times animal animal services, whatever the exact title is. And I'm wondering at what point, because one of my next door neighbor was recently chased to his door by this dog. And at what point does it stop being an animal control issue where the people in the home seem to just ignore all the notices they've given and become a sheriff issue of who should be called?
Unfortunately, I think once it actually bites somebody, because animal control, even then, it's still kind of an animal control issue.
Okay.
But I understand
It
the
has to be an
concern.
assault first.
Not necessarily, but yeah, it's still an animal control issue as far as like if the bite occurs. Yes,
Okay.
it's a civil issue, but as far as like multiple complaints, and is animal control actually coming out there? I'm not sure what their staffing level is right now. Are they actually?
Yeah, they've been leaving notices. No one, of course, answers the door when they show up. And they leave notices, and there's been no they don't get back in touch with them. And it seems to be this dog is I feel like the dog is getting older and sort of like a little senile, more protective, and she's actually chasing people now. So, but animal control is understaffed, and they said they have to see the dog out, and you're like, by the time you get here, it's 40 minutes after the call, So, but unfortunately, it sounds like it's not a sheriff's issue until essentially there's a hospital visit, and even then, it's not a sheriff's issue.
Yeah,
All right.
it still falls under their realm of animal control, and it is a dog.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. Thank you so much.
Okay, Melinda?
Just a quick comment, and this was actually when you all were supporting CHP at a really bad accident on Valley View. And one of your deputies, Deputy Dugan, I can't remember his exact title or whatever, was fantastic. And so I just want to tell you that it was a situation where a young man had wrecked his car and was in cuffs because he said DUI, I think, probably. And I had the girlfriend who had broken up with him in our cafe just before this happened. And he reiterated what I had been telling her, which is all of this, not your fault. And it made a huge difference to a young woman to know that you don't have to date someone. You don't have to date someone to prevent them from doing something stupid. And his poise, his demeanor with her, just 100% get a big check mark.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you sharing, and I will pass along the.
Well, I told him at the time, but also I just think, I think when our, because like you said, CHP, it's really their singing. He was just there in support, but he played a really important role, and it made a difference to this young woman. It made a difference to me, and it was how he handled himself that I was impressed with. You don't need to hear just complaints. You get an occasional cowboy.
So, Lorna?
Question. So I own PJ's Restaurant on South Avenue Road. A couple of weeks ago, I had called 911. I had a very intoxicated customer who drove in at 11 in the morning and was becoming somewhat assertive and aggressive with me. There's myself and another woman in the building. And at my son's suggestion, I called 911 at 11. And I called again at 11:20. when I called the second time, I said, I called 20 minutes ago, we have no record of that. I said, well, why don't you have a record? He says, well, you must talk to CHP. So my question is from a protocol standpoint, because I was never transferred in either call. Do these calls go randomly to CHP and to the sheriff?
So any 911 call goes directly to CHP, and then from there, they basically, that's like the hub. They get all of it, and then it gets dispersed out to different jurisdictions. So for more direct service or direct contact to the sheriff's office specifically, it's area code 925-646-2441.
I'll send it to you. And I have it on speed dial for me.
So,
That will get you to a general phone tree.
Mhm.
You hit 0 for the operator, that will get you directly to our dispatch center, not to animal control or some other entity that are dispatched, or that phone tree will take you to. So that will get you directly to our dispatch center, as opposed to 911 goes to CHP and then they transfer to us.
so the second part of that question, so the sheriff ultimately showed up at 11:40, 30 minutes after the initial call. I was fairly upset because it took so long. But my question is in terms of, in that type of situation where I've got an aggressive, intoxicated customer who I took a picture of him, took a picture of the vehicle and a license plate. Whose jurisdiction is that? Is it CHP's because he's going to drive intoxicated? Or is it sheriff because he's in the business premise being intoxicated, about to go out and drive?
There's a little bit of both. So the individual at the time where he's being aggressive with you, that's then the sheriff's office issue. If he then gets into a car and starts to drive, then it transfers over to CHP.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry that you had to go through that and call twice, and they didn't have a record, and we didn't get to you until 40 minutes after. So.
Are there further?
Yeah, I just remembered something. Last Friday, very upset owner of Chicago Pizza with the Twist said that there's a new pizza pop-up business on Appian Way. It is.
Yep, I've seen it too. Yeah.
And he apparently has some arrangement with that tire shop to pay him a little rent to be able to be there. Anyway, he was very upset because he felt like, he's paying a lot of money to have his business and pay the rent and everything else, but now there's another second pop-up in this town. We have the taco place near Walgreens, and now this other one on Appian Way. Right, for the toast. So, he was just very upset and he wanted to have some action.
Do we know that they're unpermitted?
He's pretty sure there are unpermitted things.
Well, I believe you guys cited the pizza place within the last 2 weeks.
The pop-up or the actual business?
The pop-up. Because there was sheriff present at the pop-up.
Blanking on it.
BCD.
Environmental health. Yes. It's
Environmental health.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they will often come out and they'll request our assistance to go. Because they've had some of the vendors, some of the pop-up vendors be aggressive with them. I think it ended up having like a workers' comp claim or whatever. So generally when they come out to do inspections and things like that, check licensing and permits, they do call us and be there to assist. But that is, that's their domain to.
So you're assisting in
And
that
I can
side.
give you that to environmental health. Because here's the thing, if you see an illegal pop-up, call environmental health first. And like you said, they'll call them to help, but environmental health, and you can call on any restaurant or any pop-up that you don't think is properly permitted. And environmental health is pretty quick to respond, actually. Although at night it's trickier, during the day it's a little more.
So for just a bit of context, this is becoming a big problem along San Pablo Dam, and now it's like Appian Way. I've not seen that pizza pop up,
I have.
but at any rate, we've been back and forth on email with Ronnie, with County Health about this issue. for well over a year. And it looks like the current status is there's some kind of closed door deliberation in the Board of Supervisors to come up with a legal mechanism, an enforcement mechanism to just simply stop them from operating. Apparently, whatever they have on the books now is an ironclad.
Yeah, I mean, they're issuing permits to certain vendors and things like that, so until they come up with the final decision on which way they're gonna go with that. Environmental health is enforcing, ticketing, issuing fines. They have taken some cooking, some of the stuff they used to cook, and I think food and things like that, depending on the vendor and how many violations they've had, things like that. So.
I think this is something that's, will hopefully come more prominently into your radar in the next few months, as we've all about had it here. There are real risks to safety, and the inspections have found inadequate food preparation practices, and they are a living, breathing fire risk.
Open flame grills under a tree.
So
There's nothing about that that anybody thinks is a good idea.
So I think we probably need to keep the meeting moving ahead. Are there any further questions for Lieutenant Fitzgerald?
Just one last brief question from an enforcement standpoint. When the pop-up is blocking the sidewalk and the smoke is obscuring visibility of drivers, is that environmental health or does that become a sheriff issue?
I think it'll probably become a sheriff's issue.
And I think, this is me, I think especially when that open flame grill and they set up under the tree like they sometimes do, we ought to call the fire department too. Frankly, because that's a fire hazard, and as it gets drier, it's gonna get worse. Set the whole neighborhood on fire.
If there are no further questions for Lieutenant Fitzgerald, then sir, thank you so much for talking with us. So Ronnie, go ahead with the update.
All right.
I got one just like his. It's working on me.
Okay, so it's probably just low latency mode.
Yeah.
I don't know.
See,
Yeah.
it's working
it's
much
like a
faster.
Technology. All right. A number of items for the county update for this month. So with the countywide noise ordinance. County staff have provided a brief overview of potential updates to the current noise ordinance for unincorporated areas of the county. And the preliminary proposal focuses on two areas: outdoor amplified sound and construction-related noises. So starting with outdoor amplified sound. County staff discussed possible restrictions on outdoor amplified sound after 10 p.m. on Fridays and Saturdays, and after 8 p.m. on other nights. The proposal would also clarify that amplified sound from inside a building could still be considered outdoor noise if doors or windows remain open. And jumping down to construction-related noise, staff discussed potential construction hour regulations for projects requiring building permits, with possible enforcement through citations and administrative fines by DCD and the Sheriff's Office, to which Lieutenant Sheriff alluded to. Staff also noted that additional regulations for vehicle noise, leaf blowers, fireworks, and gunshots are not currently recommended because many of those regulations are already separately regulated and are difficult to enforce. And so any future ordinance would apply only to the unincorporated areas of the county. And so that concludes that section. Jumping down to we have an update in regard to the food vendors on the down road. So it's pretty much a review. County Health has received ongoing complaints dating back to 2024 So environmental health issued about 3 notices of violation in 2024 while the business was operating in the Rodeo area, and all directing immediate cessation of operations. And so since relocating to El Sobrante in December of 2024, environmental health has issued 8 additional NOVs, along with enforcement action that included impounding equipment and discarding food, much to what Lieutenant Fitzgerald alluded to earlier. And total fines to date are $50,000. None have been paid currently.
It's still there.
So environmental health has repeatedly attempted to bring the operators into compliance. These efforts have been refused, and the operators have continued to operate despite enforcement action. So currently, the county is pursuing legal action to declare the operation a public nuisance and seek permanent injunction regarding requiring compliance with all applicable regulations.
So my question for that would be, I'm sorry, why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, I have one more. So
violating my own guidelines.
Regarding public drive and road safety along that corridor, county public works traffic section have evaluated related requests for speed bumps, crosswalks, truck weight restrictions, and additional striping improvements. And based on current policy thresholds and collected traffic data, Public Works does not currently recommend speed humps, additional crosswalks, or fog line striping along Pebble Drive. However, staff have noted that a potential truck weight restriction could still be brought forward to the Board of Supervisors for consideration. So our office understands the myriad of pain points, I guess you can put it, in regard to that area. So we have an internal meeting scheduled for early next month to discuss a possible next step, and then any pertinent updates will be given to the MAC at a future date. And finally, if no one here is a part of a council or a board or commission, we've got some positions available if you'd like to apply. I can provide you with an extensive list if you'd like.
The good ones?
Yeah. I don't have it memorized, but we have a good number of open positions. So if anyone would like to participate,
So there's the
Spanish
county
fashion.
wine and cheese tasting.
I was gonna say.
Cheese tasting commission.
The cheese tasting.
If you'd like the full list, you can reach out to me directly, and I'll also
Probably existence,
maybe. Maybe. You can reach out to me, and then also be in the Friday newsletter that goes out this weekend. Who's mine? Okay.
Just a couple of questions. The first question relates to the food vendor, and the second question relates to the studies on what was the name of the street?
Pebble Drive.
Yeah. Okay. So with respect to the food vendors, that injunction is specifically meant to that business, correct? Or is it an injunction for a whole class of businesses?
I'm not entirely clear on if that's more of like a broad paintbrush, but I know specifically that injunction I was referring
One
to.
that's been cited that many times.
Yes,
$50,000, they're actually ready to go to court.
Yes.
So then you know what the potential enforcement mechanisms would be that would be different from what they're doing already?
Yeah, I don't have a good
That would be good to know, as soon as there's an update.
Yeah.
And then the comment I had about Pebble Drive was that I'm really happy that they're going to consider putting a weight limit on that road, because I've driven down it a bunch of times, and clearly a large truck out of control can really do some real damage there.
And that new business with all the dump trucks means it's happening all the time.
So
Yeah.
then the other consideration is, I was just a little bit disappointed at some of the measures with respect to striping and crosswalks and the like. I'm just trying to remember
Speed humps.
speed humps in particular, because they were citing county statistics. But the problem, I think, with citing county statistics is that, you know, you're averaging that particular road, which is, you know, serpentine with other roads that are relatively straight and have high visibility. So, you know, it's, to me, it's not just a question of averages, I think, or, you know, history of accidents on that road. I think it's, you know, it's an accident waiting to happen. And, you know, maybe, you know, I just feel like the approach of just comparing to county averages is maybe a little bit limiting.
I second that if I can.
So,
Okay. No, you're finished now?
I'm done.
I just had a question. At one point, does not paying fines give you the police the right to impound the truck?
Well, right now, there's no strong ordinance that we can that the sheriff's office has or environmental health has, and so we're looking at expanding the current.
Okay.
So we actually have an actual. I mean,
There's all sorts of shows where they, you know, not paying parking tickets, they impound cars.
Well, likely incorporate
Yeah. That's true.
Well, but also, I mean, if they declared a public nuisance, that's a criminal charge. And they could go after the people criminally to do that. Then it's not affecting desk. So maybe that's what they're trying to do. I'm just guessing.
Yeah, I think
Because that's criminal. Because if they go criminal, then they can go after these guys.
yeah, I think Mickey had a question.
Yeah, I was wondering if you could give just a brief, not really update, but about, talk about what happened today at today's commission meeting. The left code? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, the CSA R9 arm was proposed to dissolve, which would essentially, if passed by the commissioners, would have cut out a potential funding source for parks or recreation facilities up this way. So Supervisor Joya has been has been advocating for a very long time to keep that open, that avenue open. So I'm more than sure, I believe, if I'm not correct, if I'm not.
1 year.
Yeah, 6 to 12 months. So for them to come back to that item. So yeah, it gives us a little bit of time to kind of massage things with the Maori property owners, because those conversations are still ongoing.
So I was wondering, Melinda, did you want to finish your thought? I just wanted to make sure Mickey got recognized because she better get it.
No, I was staying in the lane of the same conversation. Because I knew she wanted to talk about something else. But I'm done.
Chris?
Yeah, I think at a previous discussion about Pebbles Drive, didn't they say that there's the weight on the limit on the trucks, if this business is located on the drive or something like that, that's an exception, that they can still drive on it, and isn't that part of the problem here, is that they?
No, they're on APM.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so some have to have a business on the drive, but then the locals, I mean, isn't it something about the local?
The drive is all residential.
If I was a driver, I wouldn't want to drive it in a big truck.
Please go ahead.
I think Pebble Drive has been identified as one of the likely evacuation, not like the parking lot evacuation, which San Pablo Dam Road will represent. But Pebble Drive is identified as that, and that may be one of their concerns about putting speed bumps. But I have a question, why can't they do 15-mile-per-hour signing and then put speed cameras up? They're gonna be legal very, very soon.
Yeah, I mean, that's
I mean, that's
one of
me,
the.
getting a ticket
yeah.
is much more useful.
Yeah, I mean, it is.
So they talk about.
Yes,
they
I was
lower
gonna-
the speed limit. It's like impossible to lower the speed limit anywhere.
Yeah, and also that's not it's not a end all to the solution to that problem, because I mean, I live on a pretty quiet area and people are zooming up my street. I live in El Cerrito, so they will stop when they get to the speed limit, and then the other side of the street they're going 30, 35. So it's something that we can definitely bring up to Monisha and the team. But I don't want to give her a definite no, but we can definitely bring that up to Monisha.
So I believe you had it for that and then Laura.
So yeah, I'm Ariana. I actually live on Pebble Drive, so my opinion may be biased. But I remember when Manish was giving his presentation back in February, one of the reasons he cited for not being able to put a speed bump on Pebble Drive is because we have too many cars driving up the road, but that's exactly why we need a speed bump. So guess what keeps cars from driving up the road is having speed bumps. So that would actually be a deterrent to some of these people. On Thursday, when I was trying to make a right coming down Pebble Drive, trying to make a right on Aiken, while I was waiting at the stop sign, 8 cars turning to go up Pebble Drive, including 4 identical white vans. I'm not sure where those white vans were coming from, but they're different from the truck business that you guys were talking about on Aiken. So there are many businesses that are leveraging that road. And so that's why it was a little frustrating to hear them say, oh, we cannot have a speed bump because we have too many cars driving here. When we're not considered, what is it, an arterial road, I think is the name. So I just want to say that for the record.
Lorna?
Well, I just wanted to comment on the, in general. So the issue of Pebble Drive is a similar issue in La Paloma. And that issue goes back well over 30 years. I mean, when I lived in La Paloma, you know, I talked to Joy about this issue, talked to traffic commissioner about the issue. The rationale against the speed bumps, not only the traffic, they don't like it because of emergency vehicles going up and down, hitting speed bumps. But with all that to say, these are 2 arterial roads and they're used as cut throughs from the freeway. It's particular if there's an accident on Highway 80, they're all going down Mount Belmont and they're all going down the drive. So it is a hazard. And so slowing down the traffic with cameras is a viable option. And I have a comment on that later on Santa Barbara Dam. But you know, if you get San Francisco just installed 33 speed cameras as with a grant from the state of California, and it has visibly reduced speeding in San Francisco and pedestrian deaths. And in addition, there's been less, that there have not been a lot of repeat offenders once they got that first ticket.
I wanted to mention that there are speed bumps that have, I don't know whether they space them or whether they're speed bumps themselves, but they do not impede emergency vehicles and have to do with wheel cut up.
Right. Yeah. That was the argument used at the time. That's all.
Yeah.
Got that. So, are there any further questions? Go ahead.
Any idea when you're going to tell people about the impact fund grants?
I would love to get information. We had almost 250 applications. Yeah, I know. And we actually just hired on a new full-time employee. He'll be full-time soon to kind of help out with a lot of the back end work. But it's quite a doozy to get through 200 plus applications.
Because the folks who applied were told they had to be ready by May 30th, and we may not even know about it by May 30th, let alone be able to do anything.
Yeah. No, it's something that we're.
It's a conundrum.
Yeah, and it's something that we're constantly bringing back to Supervisor Joy's attention. So as the information is available, we'll definitely
Just curious.
Mass information.
For the record, just asking.
Yeah,
Because
no,
it was supposed to be March 30th.
No, please, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here it is,
Almost June.
A little bit. Okay.
So if there are no further questions for Ronnie, then I think we can move to the next item, which is Contra Costa Fire Protection District update. Michelle.
Hi, I would love to, if it's okay with you, Chair, I'd like to hear from the people in the room first. I have some grant, a slide deck that needs to be presented, so I just don't want to hold people up if they're looking to present and go.
Michelle, how long do you think your slide deck will take to go through?
I can abbreviate it down to about 20-30 minutes.
Okay.
That's a lot.
That's too much.
Yeah. Is there any way you can? So
I'll talk fast.
So if it's going to be a lengthy presentation, what I suggest is we have our other items go first.
Right. That was hoping. I was hoping that you would go with that.
How to condense your presentation from maybe 20, the 30 minutes to maybe max 15.
I will try my best.
Yeah, so what we'll do is, we'll have, the project priorities. Presentation by, Public Works.
Sure.
No?
Yeah, I thought about it some more. Should I present from over there? But then the slides are there. I don't want to give them whiplash going left and right. Yeah, would it be easiest to? I can talk from over there. I'll try to point.
Yeah.
From the distance, but I do have a PowerPoint to. The visual person, so.
All good.
Yeah.
So Michelle, this is a roughly 10-minute presentation.
Yeah, I timed it up, but I'll try to keep it quick because then 20-30 minutes.
Oh my God.
Okay.
There it is.
Excellent.
Okay.
Okay, so if I should, I'm going to just that I use this. You don't need to make that animation. Okay, works. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Council members of the public, those voting online. My name is Jeff Boleros. I am a senior civil engineer with Contra Costa County Public Works. Here to give a presentation today about public works, the services that we provide, talk a bit about our capital projects. I'm also joined here by my manager, Quest too. So can answer any questions. So very brief, lean outline for tonight. Wanted to give an overview of our department and all the services we provide, talk about the public infrastructure that we must maintain, then delve a little bit into our capital projects. We'll get to this in the Q&A. So I don't want to put a mission statement. It's really kind of good to see with any organization their ethos and what guides them. So I will read this. So public works employees deliver cost-effective, safe, reliable, sustainable projects, programs, and quality services with a focus on our communities, and provide support services that are competitive, attentive, responsive, efficient, and safe to enable county departments to provide high-quality services to the public. Bit of mouth, sorry. Did want to emphasize that we are responsible for maintaining our aging infrastructure, as well as also we do our best to be as fiscally responsible as possible. So for our capital projects, we do leverage grant funds as much as possible, find ways to improve and streamline our operations, while also still balancing maintenance of our projects, and also accounting for the increasing costs for maintenance as well as. Want to show some photos of kind of the types of work that we do, curb ramps, some retaining walls, some capital projects, and our service stream. Org chart of our public works department. I'm not going to read every single one of these, but broadly speaking, we like to break it up roughly into two different types. We have our public infrastructure and direct public services. So this is the more public facing side that the communities know us as. And so we have our airports, county buildings, our vertical buildings, our flood control district, roadways, special districts, which is more of our parks and rec. And then we have our general county department services, and that's more internal support to our other departments throughout the county. But I'll just mostly focus on the services that are more public facing. And then at the very bottom, that's just the 18 divisions that kind of outline all the aspects of what we do. For the next few slides, I promise I won't read every single one of these bullet points, but I want to just highlight a lot of the assets that we maintain and a bit of the services we provide. So for the transportation side, we have about 660 miles of roadways. And so that is within all unincorporated communities throughout Contra Costa, i.e. not within cities. So we go from North Richmond, El Sobrante, Rodeo Crockett on the west side, migrating east towards Pacheco, Alamo, Bay Point, and then all the way over to east to Bethel Island, Byron, Discovery Bay. Within that, we have about 86 federally classified bridges, signals, crosswalks, bike facilities that we maintain. Moving down, we have our flood control division district. And so with them, we maintain about 79 miles of channels. They're all of Contra Costa, and that's woven between cities and unincorporated communities. We have all these other facilities that we maintain, such as dams, basins, drop structures. Next, airports. We have two county airports that we operate. We have Buchanan Airport over in Concord, and then over in East County, Byron. From county buildings, we have 165 buildings that we lease and 188 county-owned buildings, and with a footprint of roughly 4 million square footage, quite a bit. And then the last two, I wanted to bring up just our county surveyor. So a lot of the statutory requirements that need to be fulfilled as part of the Professional Land Surveyors Act. From the roadway project standpoint, they make sure we do our project within right away or help us secure, work with obtaining rights and easements from property owners, along with our real estate group. And then we have special districts, which is again more of our parks and rec, and we have about 19 parks and many other assets that we maintain. I'm a visual person, so I wanted to put together this little map. These are all the roads. Pardon, it's a little tiny, but there's the red, blue, and black lines based on roadway functional classification. So again, you can kind of see our overall spread throughout Contra Costa and those communities that I very briefly talked about. From our flood control side, what is shown here in that dark reddish brown are those 79 miles of channels that we maintain. Moving along, capital project, I think that's mostly questions there. Keep it all fun, but I wanted to maybe show roughly just how we conceive of projects, the genesis behind them. And so they can come from many different aspects. So I'll start clockwise. It could come directly from the Board of Supervisors if there's a particular need they identify. It could come from community requests, kind of like what we're doing here, and when you reached out to our traffic section. Could be legislative requirements, either from the feds or from the state. Network reliability, that's more of restoring our network. So if a road is failing or there are a bunch of potholes or the pavement is worsened, that's where our that too. Yes, we do have some of that, and I'll get a bit of that from our 22-23 storm damage projects. Yeah, it could come from advocacy groups, and then I saved the best for last. So it could come from a safety aspect. If there's a particular issue that we want to make sure that the public health stays safe. I covered the transportation world, so I just wanted to briefly show the 5 goals. At least every single one of our capital projects tries to address one of these goals. We try to address with safety, reducing the frequency and severity of collisions, maybe for multimodal mobility, so think of complete streets. Historically, roads were constructed just for vehicles, but now we understand there are many other users, transit users, bicyclists, pedestrians that we should also account for. Efficiencies are the goal, a third goal about improving traffic flow. So when there's a lot of congestion, finding ways to improve flow by traffic. I did talk about reliability, about network reliability. And then lastly, quality of life is just ensuring that all of the decisions that we make, the projects that we move forward, just protect public health, enhance safety, and improve the daily living conditions. All residents, that's their all country. So wanted to show what our current portfolio is like. It's a bit big at the moment. We have 37 active projects. 27 of these projects are in the design phase. We have 9 projects in the advertisement phase. So that is where we advertise and try to solicit for contractors to construct the projects. And we have one project currently in construction. I do want to note that, again, this is a pretty high portfolio, and a lot of these projects did stem from our 2022-2023 storm damage event. And we're still going through the process through the Federal Highway Administration getting funding for that. All of those damages total roughly $40 million on our county network, and we don't have the local funds to just do that, so we do have to go for funds, which takes some time. Next, this is a slide I put together that just shows the projects that we've constructed over the past 10 years in the Sobrante community and some that are upcoming. Fortunately, with how tiny it is, the way I intended for this map to be set up is those would be solid boundaries, so the ones that we've constructed. I think Ronnie will hopefully make these slides available later on, so I don't have to read all these. Yeah. Pretty tiny. And then the ones that are with the dashboard on the outside are the ones that are upcoming. So wanted to note we have our El Sobrante library that was constructed, our San Pablo General Sidewalk gap closure, our walkability along downtown and the streetscape and the street trees we put there. We did do in 2019 a surface treatment of San Pablo Dam Road and parts of Delport Path, as well as we upgraded our traffic signal hardware upgrades at 9 of the intersections and the lights to try to use modern equipment and reduce red light running. For projects that are planned that are upcoming, I'll start top down. We have our Appian Way utility undergrounding. That's using PG&E credits to underground those utilities. Up there in the dash line, we have our Appian Way at Friendway crosswalk enhancements. I understand there was a fatality quite a few years ago, and so we are looking to do what we call curve extensions or bulb outs to narrow the roadway, the rectangular rapid flashing beacons, which flash up when you push it, as well as a median refuge island.
He was the husband of a member of my church
Oh,
and
wow.
their dog.
Sorry to hear that.
Killed the dog too.
And then we have our other projects. I know two of them, this in Pablo Dam Road, storm drain and erosion repair east of La Honda, as well as the one 1.2 miles west of Lafayette Canyon. Those were part of our 22-23 storm damage projects, but the federal process to secure the funding and all the hoops we have to go through, it's set for next year. And I know that our design construction team is working very diligently with that and all the other projects throughout Contra Costa to move that forward. Because we do get the complaints and we acknowledge that. And so I'll refrain from reading all those. There's quite a bit of text here. But with that, I am on my last slide. I wanted to give a plug on, you can either scan the QR code or follow the website, but if you need service, Contra Costa County is here to listen. And so we have an app, as well as you can submit on our online portal if there's issues maybe with a pothole or if there's illegal dumping, you can report that and it gets to our department to.
Is that Mobile Citizen?
What's that?
Is that Mobile
Mobile
Citizen?
Citizen is on, yeah. That goes to the website and then it talks about mobile citizens.
Some of us were really fond of Mobile Citizen.
Oh, great. Glad to hear that. Yeah, we take all feedback and if there's ways we improve, we take that too. But anyway, that's my PowerPoint.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your presentation. So, the question, part of the questions we had, and I think it was expressed by a gentleman who was here a couple of meetings ago. What's the name of that road that is the continuation of Pinole Valley going eastward? Alhambra. So he lives on Alhambra Road, and there are all these spots where it goes down to one lane. Where there are repairs taking place, and he said it's been forever. We put in complaints, and it just never gets addressed. So the question we came up with, kind of as a panel, was how do you weigh, when all these projects come in, how do you weigh which ones get the priority so that you either apply for the funds or go ahead with local funds or however you do it? How do you rank all these needs? What's your scoring mechanism?
We don't have a very formalized scoring, quantifying, but I would say that like public health and safety is paramount. And so I think it's Alhambra Valley Road. That project was part of the 22-23 storm damage, and we're going through the federal process for that as well.
Some of the damage is a lot older than that.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's been a really, at least 10 years. At least.
Yeah, I know we've tried to shore up some sections that are due for some of those projects, and they have failed again. And our public works, our design construction team, they're trying to find the alternatives from that area.
So is there an effort right now underway to kind of correct the road so that it's a 2-lane road going all the way through?
Yes, there's an active project right now. I think there's 3 sites along Alhambra Valley Road.
Right.
I think and so it's one project that we have. And so some more information, one of my slides, it was the advertising upcoming projects. If you follow that link or just Google Contra Costa County advertised projects or advertising upcoming, you can see a list of those projects. You can get a list of the cost, the status of it, as well as the project engineer. If you have any more questions, because they're more intimate with those details.
Okay, so we can go on further questions from the board. Nikki?
Yeah, do you have your own construction crew that you contract out with another company?
Yeah, we have our maintenance crews that handles like surface treatments on many of our rural roads, but in regards to projects that I really did talk about here, those are solicited contractors.
My other question is about illegal dumping and littering, and what kind of service do you have on a regular basis? I mean, they like near the reservoir, are they patrolling it on a regular basis?
So Chris Lau was in our maintenance division, and he's very familiar with it. And I'm going to mince words, so I'll leave it to him.
Good evening. My name is Chris Lau, Transportation Engineering Division Manager. I just came back to transportation engineering after 11 years of maintenance. Illegal dumping is a little bit of that project.
First 2.
So your question again?
Well,
Not policing the.
what kind of service are you providing on a regular basis? Do we have to call in everything? Are you patrolling certain areas, making sure it's maintained?
It's a little bit of everything. Most of our requests come in from the public, where you're welcome to submit a request in our local citizen app, our customer portal, on our website, email us, call us.
Yeah, I know you're pretty responsive.
Yeah,
to
that's
that. And we've been, yeah.
Yeah.
We
We log in every request that comes in, and we put it on a debris log. And we have an agreement with Richmond Sanitary in this area, Richmond Sanitary, as part of their franchise agreement to pick up all of those items that we report to them. So we leverage their help in doing that. There are times when some of those items are things that they can't pick up, so our crews will pick it up. We also leverage our maintenance crews that may see illegal dumping. If they're picking up if they're actively picking up illegal dumping, they will pick up other items that they see. We also have 2 per diem sheriff deputies that are devoted to illegal dumping, and they will also turn in a mobile citizen request as well on legal dumping, so that so they also report and have our then we put it on the debris log and people get pickups.
Okay, so what about littering along San Pablo Dam Road?
Yeah.
whatever the
Littering is a little bit tougher of problem. We can address illegal dumping because they're like larger, smaller piles, distinct piles, whereas litter is kind of wind blown, it's everywhere. We don't have a litter pickup service that our resources are able to provide. It becomes a resource issue. We do have an Adopt a Road program where volunteers in your community volunteer to pick up litter, and we have volunteers throughout the county that do that. There is limitations of that as well, though. There are some roads that we'd rather not have volunteers on because it's not safe to be on there.
Yeah,
and so yes, it is a tough one because we wouldn't want people on San Pablo Dam Road, the higher speed sections, to be there picking up litter.
Yeah, I was told that they'd have to block off areas and hire, I guess, sheriffs or something to.
Traffic control. Yeah,
Some kind of traffic control, because the green team, we're green team on for your there's a few people here part of that. We'd be willing to help with that, but we need the safety component, but that's not something you're gonna provide. Or it can't be.
If you have a community cleanup event and it's organized and we're all out before things happen, that we could probably consider that as something that we could do. It is at a cost. Typically your events are probably on a weekend. We don't work on weekends, and so we'd have to bring people in for a special project like that. There's a cost to that, but that's something that we could consider.
It would really be nice if it was a beautiful, clean drive.
So Vicki, maybe this is something that you can write to Chris about, come up with some specifics. And we could evaluate whether it's possible to give the county support.
Well, if not once a month,
Make up a postcard down
once
the back is
once
a
every 2
resource.
times a year, maybe
Resource.
we could arrange something.
Yeah,
To do the work since
typically around the county, communities have a cleanup event. They usually coordinate with the supervisor's office, and some supervisors may have access to certain agreed upon cleanup days that the trash companies can also participate in. And so, and we can coordinate an event, and our maintenance crews can be a part of that. And so we've done that different communities. Yeah.
Okay, so I think are there any questions from the audience? Okay.
Mine's quick. I noticed you don't have a bullet for your capital projects to prioritize the evaluating of an evacuation route. And they all know I have a bugaboo about this, because for example, right now, San Pablo Dam Road is incapable already of emptying out the city, but we have only one lane going that way because it's blocked for a significant section, and it should be prioritized because it is identified as the parking lot evacuation route for people who say, well, emergency services are going in the direction. And it just seems like that's missing from your prioritize. It should be a bullet in there. Put a bullet in there.
to evacuation routes.
Yeah, and with the disaster risk profile Contra Costa has, it really should be part of your evaluation.
Well, excuse me, like Jeff said, safety is typically our number one priority. We want to make sure that people.
I'm finding that the evacuation route piece is missing from the calculation. That's why I'm putting.
Thank you for the point.
How about a tripping hazard on the sidewalk?
Yes, so when it comes to tripping hazards on the sidewalk, our program is typically this. When we either identify a tripping hazard or we're informed of a tripping hazard from a member of the public, you're welcome to call our maintenance division. It's 925-313-7000. What we do is we receive every request, we log it in, we have staff go out, identify the tripping hazard, and then we will notify the private property owner of the tripping hazard in front of their home, so that we inform them that it's their responsibility to maintain the sidewalk. We send a number of notices to them, and it's their responsibility under our ordinance and the vehicle code or government code that they are responsible to maintain the tripping hazard.
It's corner of Appian Way and San Pablo Dam Road. There's I think it's a water thing, so there's a metal.
So if it's a utility, we will notify the utility that their utility is causing a tripping hazard.
So somebody did trip, and somebody else said, "Oh, that should be reported. Somebody could trip and fall into the street there." Okay, so I whipped out my phone and I opened my mobile citizen app and took a picture.
Yes.
And I sent it in.
And nothing has happened.
Did you get-
As far as we know, nothing has happened.
Did you get a response back? You should have, that it was received.
Yeah, I got the notification that it's, I think they're even with a number.
Yeah, and if you'd like to follow up on that, we provide a phone number for you to call and follow up on that.
So you receive that from the local citizen?
And it's assigned to staff for them to follow up, and then we have staff research the tripping hazard, determine who may be responsible for it, and send a letter to that responsible.
Well, you're gonna be sending a letter to yourself where this corner
That
is.
particular corner. That particular corner.
If that's the case. You won't be sending a letter to yourself.
It's right, it's just over here, and it's county property behind it, it's not private.
So
It's probably gonna be.
And it's.
And that's the case sometimes as well. But if it's around
Yeah, it could be
utility.
it could be Edmund. You were Edmund, probably.
So I think Lorna had a question.
Yeah, so it's a short question, but it's a multi-pronged question. So first, it's a comment. Kudos to your folks that came out this last week and repainted the curbs along San Pablo Dam Road red. Glad to see that, because every time people park on that road with those cars going by at 60 miles an hour, it's a huge hazard. So thank you. Second part is so the trees along San Pablo Dam are owned by the county. Getting them out there to maintain them, I realize it's a cost issue, it's a challenge. Is there a liability to the property owner for trimming the trees themselves?
Great question. Yeah, now you gotta talk to a lawyer.
If it's hard to come up with the answer, you can always respond to us.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Oh, I mean, I don't respond by email. I mean, I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to answer your question because maybe you're seeking a certain answer, but I mean, not to be facetious, but there could be a liability for a
private property owner maintaining a tree and should they hurt themselves and they're.
Well, I'm less concerned about that, and if I hired a professional to maintain the tree, I'm more concerned about the county saying, finding me because.
You
know,
touched the
church, because the property owner touched the tree. The trees grow to the point that they block my business signs. So the signs aren't visible. So I'd like to hire a private person to maintain the trees because Public Works can only get out there once a year with that.
You know, the official answer is if you are performing maintenance or activities within a public right of way, you should be applying for and asking for a permit to do the work.
Okay, so that's the answer I'm seeking. So there's a process.
Yes, there is a process.
So the last part of this question is your slide. So there's 37 projects, capital projects. Only one is in construction.
It's just a timing issue. It's just where right now construction season's around summertime, so that number is going to be bumping up. A lot of projects are currently being advertised right now, and
Okay.
there's negotiation of the contract.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any further questions?
Well, not really a question, but a comment is I want to say that I feel like the local citizen has gotten faster and faster in terms of response. I really appreciate the fact that now I get things like it says denied and it explains to me why, like it's not, like it says it's on Richmond property, which is really helpful. It doesn't do exactly what we do next. And I was also glad to see that somebody was at the regional illegal dumping conference that we had in Oakland, and somebody from Public Works was there. So I just want to thank you guys for that.
So if there are no further questions for the gentleman from Public Works, thank you so much for coming out here and speaking with us. And we appreciate what you do.
And thank you.
Thank you.
Marilyn, do you want to say the?
Well, I'm wondering if we, Michelle?
It's okay. Here, go ahead. That's my decision today, so I give you the blessing to go ahead.
So maybe if you go first, Michelle will want to do.
Yeah, she can brush through that. At the end of control.
Yes, just give me one moment here.
Bring it up.
So just last August. And can you see their houses right to the left? And beyond the trees at the top of the burn. So this is a reality. People like to think there's never been a fire here. Okay. I'm just saying, there have been fires here, close by. So I'm talking today really about how you can prepare for all the things you need to do to get alerts on your phone and so forth. We have an evacuation drill coming up for El Sobrante Valley. I'll get to that to the end, but we're trying to get everybody to do this right now. So you can sign up for CWS alerts using this QR code or go into the website, enter your phone number. It'll say on there, but that 925 number, it's really important to put that into your contacts and then label it and add emergency bypass. Android, I'm not sure what the system is, but that way it'll break through the do not disturb if you're sleeping, because you sure want to hear your evacuation alert at night. The next one is Nixle, and not so people aren't confused. Everybody purchase Nixle, but you go to nixle.com and it'll get you there. Or you can text the zip code to 888-777 from your cell. Personally, I suggest going to the website, because if you work or you have to take care of somebody in another location, you can receive Nixle alerts from multiple places. I did that for my job, and it was so nice to be at home and know that maybe it wasn't worth driving to work that day.
You can even do it for other parts of the state. When we had family at risk in Southern California,
Yeah.
I set up alerts for them, and then I knew whether they were in trouble or not.
Exactly.
I love Nixle.
Yeah, Nixle's very good. I don't think the county's using it, but Richmond does. And find your evacuation zone. And that is at, you can go to genesis.com, frankly, and it'll put you right into protectgenesis.com/search. Put your address in. And then I also recommend downloading the Genesis Protect app on your phone, on your cell phone. I'm not being completely legit here, but if you're in other areas of California and there's an alert system, it'll come through Genesis. Like if you're in San Diego or LA. So it's worth doing that. Plus, you can always check if you're visiting a friend. Oh, we are actually in a zone that has to go. Then I really encourage people to download the Watch Duty app. Just today, there was an alert of 2 different fires in the county, and you can get progress and so forth. I also suggest that when you're traveling in wildfire country in California, you actually go to the app and turn on the location all the time. This has happened to me when I've been in the Sierra Nevada mountains, and we had to change what roads we were traveling on because they were actually in the process of evacuating people ahead of us. And we had it heads up because we had Watch Duty on. And there's also the website. If you want to have more than one location, it's by county. If you, like my daughter is in Mendocino, so I pay $24.99 a year. So I know what wildfire is going to go near her or not. And that's actually a donation. And it's a very worthy cause. They do pay their programmers and some of their monitoring people, but the people who report the information are professional firefighters. They're volunteers. They do it for free. So here's some other resources, and perhaps it's more useful to just send you guys to the West Contra Costa Fire State Council's website and look for how to prepare for evacuation for the recent evacuation preparedness workshop we had up at the Gazebo. It was a nice workshop, and we'll do it again. And pretty well attended. It was. So I do want to point out there's a FEMA app that's very good for post recovery, not for evacuation, but post recovery. And then we have read a lot about different situations where Facebook has turned out to be very useful post disaster. And then last, I'd like people to sign for CERT training. You can sign up actually for different places. You don't have to stick to El Sobrante. You could even go to Orinda. They're usually very welcoming to people, even if it's not in their city. And Richmond and San Pablo have been coordinating together, and Richmond's trying to set up a course, I think, for the fall. Do people know about Alert California? You know where we have cameras nearby? Wildcat Canyon. We have one at Wildcat Canyon where the big East Bay mud tank is near Bonita Gate. We have one towards on the. It faces. It's on the northern edge of the Pinole Valley. And then there's one at Volmer. We have none for El Sobrante, no village. $50,000 to put in. We think we could do it cheaper. They could do it cheaper, but they're telling us $50,000 per month. But it's looking for smoke. And they have AI now monitoring. There's some research coming out right now that's saying, well, we need to improve AI's ability. Then there's the evacuation drill, and it's actually open to everyone in El Sobrante Valley. The goal is to look at how CWS is actually working. In the last practice drill, people outside of the area got messages to evacuate, which was a little unnerving. And then other people didn't get the evacuation alert until 3 hours after the drill was over. So we really want people to do that. And that one, I could not get permission to get this, I didn't respond to all my emails. So I couldn't get the trailer video. But I really want people to watch this particular video. And it is about the 11-minute one is called Make It Downhill Alive. And the picture here that I have from the trailer, this video is fantastic. It shows you how to drive on a curvy road among embers with the fire front approaching, and how there are certain places the fire is always going to travel. And so he tells you how to look and how to drive safely out. It's really important, especially in El Sobrante. So many people live on these curvy 20-foot wide roads. And it also is a great illustration as to why you might want to get out early in what they call particularly dangerous situations, which is PDS in firefighter language. Because those are the days when a fire could just take off and be gone.
And those are the days when you should come down to the good table and spend a day with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
And she accepts dogs, chickens, and
and bring your go bag with you. And bring your go bag with you, yeah.
Yeah. And I think that is it. I don't know if
Any questions for Marilyn? Go ahead, Lee.
So I signed up for the drill and I have all those apps and everything. What should I expect on May 30th to happen?
Well, good one. I wish Richard was here. I can tell you basically what it is for you guys. You wait to get the CWS alert to evacuate, and you might get 2 or 3 different kinds of alerts. Like you have to leave now. That's the one you don't want to hear. You want to hear the one that says you have to leave in 15 minutes. I'm not going to show, there's another video where they do modeling on traffic. If you delay 10 minutes, in other words, if you don't go out the door right away, your trip out may triple in length. It's why I call the function of San Pablo down the road, they'll be the evacuation parking lot, because that's what's going to happen. So that's part of it. You want to make a note when the alert comes through.
Wait, part of it is they want to make sure everybody knows the difference between emergency warning and emergency alert.
So just watch your phone that morning.
Okay, so I'm gonna watch my phone and then I'm expected to get in my car.
Yes.
And
drive out. And this is where I don't feel like I can tell you anything, because they had a budget issue. And the police are responsible for directing traffic. So it's kind of a problem if they can't turn up in Confire and Contra Police Sheriff's Office not participating, right, because of budgetary restrictions. So they said they'd like to do it, but with a year's planning and a budget allocation to do something like that. And that's really important because this is such a mixed bag organization. I do know that East Bay Regional Parks, East Bay Mud will be participating. But I think for you guys, just watching that CDX alert is a big thing. Get in your car with your go bags, your 3 cats, your dog, and kids, and your parents, and maybe your next door, your neighbor. And they'll say, take only 1 car, but it gets a little tough at that point. It's a reality check. Can you actually get everybody out? And then, yes, you're going to end up at Hilltop.
So let's go to the next question.
Just a quick one. I have been trying for a long time to get connected to CERT to offer it at the good table. Can you connect me with someone, Marilyn? Do you know somebody?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Charities in CERT.
No, I mean, I've done search training. I would like to offer it at the good table.
Oh,
So I need to talk to the people who offer it to get it scheduled right here in the middle of our community.
So,
And actually, I've mentioned it to said person.
Okay, good. We'll have that conversation and get it on the schedule.
so if there are no further questions for Mayor.
Sorry, just a follow-up to me discussion. So I did sign up for the alerts and I went on the website, so I've been doing as much reading as I can, and I found some YouTube videos that were actually helpful. From like March, I did a presentation on it when the place was a little less incorporated, I guess, more, yeah, more. But, so since then, I found out I'm in evacuation zone CC 115. But one of your emails mentioned something about, or one of your slides mentioned something about know which routes to use. I didn't see any permission on that, so that's something I missed on the website.
Missing
Okay,
piece,
okay.
but you registered.
So I'll just get in my car and evacuate talk about when I get the message. If the message says evacuate now or evacuate.
Yeah,
now,
and you
okay.
may see signs that says, don't go this way,
Okay, okay.
you know, but I bet you there'll be people going up Pebble, I am sorry. But that's,
Yeah.
you know, it is actually an identifier, they're now telling us part of the problem with saying where you're gonna go ahead of time isn't a true evacuation, it can become scrambled.
So our plan is to get the carriers for the cat and the dog and our bags and put in the
That's-
car, but I'm not bringing them because I think it's gonna be stressful
It's
to
just
them.
practice.
And it's just a drill, but we're gonna grab our stuff that we will grab normally, load it to the car and go, but if there's like a particular route, I wanted to make sure I follow that, but okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe next time we'll have.
The
a
route may vary depending on
Where the fire.
where the fire is.
That's true, yeah.
This is why you can't count on which way you're gonna go, because if the fire is on Hilltop, they're not gonna send you that way.
That makes sense.
They're gonna send you somewhere else.
Okay.
And if there's an earthquake, they're not gonna send you on San Pablo Dam Road, they're all gonna have to get out Appian and Hilltop. I mean, it's not a pretty.
Well, if it's an earthquake, probably it's stay right where.
We may not be
Unless it's a fire.
I know Tom wants to get going, I just wanna say, you're very optimistic.
Carolyn, thank you so much for doing all this for us. And, a really nice contribution. Thank you. So,
Make it down the hill.
so I think, maybe Marilyn's presentation may guide a little bit of what, Michelle will discuss. Michelle, are you ready?
I am ready. I'm sharing my screen right now. Can you see it?
Yes.
And can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
So thank you for taking the time to learn about our programs available to all residents in Contra Costa County. My goal is to connect the fire service, the county, and the community. When community engagement is high, we can build awareness and potentially save lives and protect property. So you'll see tonight's agenda on the screen now. My goal is to bring you current information that you can refer back to as needed. So I'll share this slide deck with Ronnie. As always, please reach out to me directly with questions. If I do not immediately have an answer, I will work to provide you with an answer or a resource. Often there are many moving parts to a particular subject, which may require monitoring of legislation or development over time, and I remain committed to that process. This is just a funding acknowledgement. The role is made possible by a pass-through grant from CAL FIRE to the California Fire Safe Council, where Contra Costa County Fire Protection District applied and was awarded the grant based on its need. Our program is meant to leverage the existing partnership between residents, government, and fire departments. As the Contra Costa County Coordinator, I am tasked with providing public education on current programs, often in partnership with public education teams, identifying grant funding for support projects and mitigation groups located within Contra Costa County, serve as a resource to assist in agency collaboration and the rollout of a community engagement. So the CWPP is an example of this collaboration, which I'll cover in a moment. Just as a reminder, I do move between every jurisdiction in the county. I'm available to every city and county department, and I work to build FireWise in every area of our county. Strong connections with statewide resources can help facilitate these local initiatives. And highlighting our local successes provides a pathway for other county coordinators throughout the state to build pathways to their own success. At the same time, it works in the opposite direction. So when something happens at the statewide level, we take best practices and apply them locally. You and your community are often a spark for this larger change. If I haven't had the opportunity to thank you personally, please know that I appreciate our connection. I will not play the video here, but if you have an opportunity to go to the California Fire Safe Council website and look up County Coordinator, you can view a 5-minute video. You may see some familiar faces and backgrounds in the video. This is one example how our work locally is being seen on the statewide stage. Contra Costa County Fire Protection District successfully applied to receive a County Coordinator Program extension, and the funding is in the amount of $151,500 over the next 15 and a half months. If awarded, this will keep the work going through October 15th of 2027. All the short-term goals outlined here today feed a larger initiative. Similar to the engagement during last year's Local Hazard Mitigation Plan engagement, county fire agencies are working to secure funding to update our county's CWPP, or Community Wildfire Protection Plan. This will take a commitment of time and staff to the process, including community meetings with stakeholders such as partner agencies such as the MAC and Firewise communities, fire safe councils, and others. The minimum requirements for a community wildfire protection plan is described in the Healthy Forest Restorations Act, or known as HEFRA, in 2003. It really focuses on collaboration with various stakeholders in the community, locally, regionally, federally, tribal and state partners, private sector stakeholders such as private landowners. We really focus on prioritizing fuels reduction, treatment of structure ignitability, looking at the WUI and areas, structures that are close to flammable vegetation, and prioritizing municipal watersheds, areas with wind throw, insect epidemics, and threatened and endangered species and habitats. This collaboration requires all agencies and community partners to collaborate when planning out these projects. On to plan alignment. All 3 phases of a wildfire disaster will be addressed in the CWPP, and those 3 phases are preparedness, response, and recovery. Contra Costa County Fire Protection District gained board approval to lead the update of the countywide Community Wildfire Protection Plan. Again, this will be fire-led and funding dependent. The goal is to engage with all stakeholders throughout the process. Those who supported the Local Hazard Mitigation Plan will remember the time and staff hours needing to bring that plan to full adoption in 2025. Soon we will have countywide defensible space and home hardening videos, along with other topics, created to assist all fire jurisdictions with messaging. The 2025 COCO, or County Coordinator Program, will be used for funding. We'll use that funding to create these educational videos. When you see them, please share them. Diablo Fire Safe Council is spearheading an update to the 2022 Regional Priority Plan, also known as the RPP. This includes Alameda and Contra Costa counties. The funding was made available by the California State Coastal Conservancy. They have also completed an update to the Alameda County CWPP. To hear more about the RPP and submit a possible project for consideration, please visit Diablo Fire Safe Council, and their website is www.diablofire-safe-council, all one word, .org. Once the Contra Costa County CWPP funding is secured, support tools will be made available to you and your teams. And I look forward to this essential process, which is aimed at building partnerships ahead of the disaster, improving coordination, and aiding in wildfire disaster recovery. The second program that I'll cover today is the Wildfire Mitigation Program. There's a significant reminder here. This is not a grant program, rather an assistance program when a community is already working together. One example is an established Firewise community with a leader or a spokesperson that can enter a project into the program portal and serve as a partner throughout that project. We utilize our contractors to complete the work. We ask that residents identify the need for partnership and/or permits to help get the project ready. We also ask that the community is already working together. Working with a person within the community is often less intimidating to a resident who may need additional help. I, as your county coordinator, am available to a resident who needs additional support. To access the Wildfire Mitigation Program project application form, please visit our website at www.cccfpd.org. As I move through the rest of tonight's presentation, you'll notice that this program is resident-driven. When a planning project is proposed by a city, such as an entry into the same mitigation program portal, we encourage that planning projects and like installations of evacuation routes addressed at the city level of government first. On to the funding piece. It's important to note that Measure X supports this program. You can view the interactive dashboard and the Project Explorer on the Measure X website held by our county partners. There are several types of projects available in this program, including community chipping days, evacuation route cleanups, Firewise strategic plan projects. The home hardening outreach program I'd like to address specifically. This program is expected to provide education and resources to help homeowners make their homes more resistant to wildfire. I recognize that this program has taken some time to launch. Please know that it remains a priority for the program. The main reminder and takeaway here is wildfire prevention is a shared responsibility. By participating in these Measure X funded programs, residents, neighborhoods, and communities can take a proactive step to reduce wildfire hazards, protect lives and property, and enhance countywide resilience. On to fire hazard severity zones. For many years, insurance companies have been using wildfire risk models to determine where they will write and renew policies and how much premium to charge a policyholder, not the fire hazard severity zone maps. CAL FIRE maps are required by law, and their purpose is to drive local planning decisions, not insurance decisions. The source of this statement is from Insurance Commissioner Lara's office, and I will provide the list of resources to Ronnie at the conclusion of tonight's meeting. You'll notice that the alignment of the science between the state fire marshal maps and the criteria when considering and evaluating a program project is similar. Please note the county coordinator does not review wildfire mitigation program projects and their entry. I do not approve, deny, or review them. That's done by a badge member of service. Finally, future mapping project. So distributing information about the wildfire mitigation program by meeting with communities such as yours and wildfire groups. We hope to saturate our tracking maps and decrease the overall fire risk to our residents and communities. This work is also supported by the statewide effort to identify work and bring leverage access to insurance coverage. The project will enable increased transparency and ability to view projects throughout the county, not only those provided and completed by the mitigation program, but also those completed by our partners. Our GIS team is currently connecting with GIS teams throughout the county to add completed projects to this initiative. Projects completed, let's say, by the East Bay Regional Parks District and others are expected to be released publicly in June of this year. I am going to skip the Know Your Zone campaign since Marilyn did cover that, and also the Find Your Evacuation Zone, subscribing to CWS, but I want to connect to this connective piece of the puzzle is protecting your home with defensible space. So residents need to understand the concept of defensible space by accessing the QR codes on the screen. And if I'm there in any in-person event, I always have postcards to hand out to attendees. Again, our goal is to make it safer for every resident, every community, and the responding crews in the event of a wildfire disaster. Finally, and I'm just 55 seconds over, but our goal is, again, to connect fire services and the county with the residents who need us most. When community engagement is high, we can build community awareness by educating the community on emergency preparedness, defensible space, and home hardening concepts. Finally, this photo was taken in 2025 at a meeting of all county coordinators where we heard from State Fire Marshal Berlant, Dr. Michael Goldner of UC Berkeley, and others about the statewide initiatives and best practices to integrate at the local level. This informative workshop continues to impact the role to this day. Thank you once again for allowing me to speak tonight, and I look forward to working with everyone in the future. With that, I am ready for your questions.
Thank you very much, Michelle. Do you have any questions from the board for Michelle? Any questions from the audience? Well, I think Michelle is such a detailed and focused presentation that you sort of preemptively answered our questions. So thank you. Thank you so much for our meeting and being a part of them.
Thank you, Chair. As long as I didn't put everyone to sleep.
No, not at all. There's a lot of really good detail in there.
Great. And we'll have more information on that CWPP and the mapping project in the months to follow.
Great. So I think we can move to the next item.
Chair, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I have two more points. I heard Councilmember McLean talk about the unpermitted businesses with open flames. I would just like to say any immediate danger, always call 911. That is the quickest way to have those areas addressed by badge members and those who have the ability to address those situations urgently. Finally, before I sign off, I would be amiss if I didn't mention this. Yesterday, the Board of Supervisors selected Deputy Chief Aaron McAllister as the Fire Chief at Con Fire following the retirement of Chief Burchard. Chief McAllister brings a strong leadership to the organization, and we welcome him in his new position as our Fire Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So we don't really have any discussion items. So we'll move to item 7, which is, and we've already covered the update on the county noise ordinance. So I think we'll just open this to public comments. Anybody who wants to make a public comment, limited by 2 minutes. I'm not going to enforce it, but just stay considerate of everybody.
So, I've been to this meeting before to inquire about the probability or possibility of a crosswalk along St. Pablo Dam and concerns regarding the speed along that road. And it's interesting, I was speaking to a predecessor of Ronnie's from John Joy's office, who's unaware that there are 25-mile posted speed limit signs along San Pablo Dam Road. So I mentioned earlier, there's a state grant with regard to, so San Francisco implemented 33 speeding cameras through a state grant. And my question to pose to Ronnie, to the supervisors, is there a possibility of our area applying for a state grant for a speeding camera?
You know, we have cameras all the way down the damn road.
But they're not used for that purpose.
I know they're not, but for months, I couldn't even find out who they belong to.
Right.
They do belong to CHP.
I know that.
And so it seems to me that we don't even need the grant. We just need for them to be able to use them for that purpose. Because they're there to monitor traffic speed and flow.
Right.
I don't see why they can't do that.
I was just gonna say the program that's in San Francisco is pilot.
No, I understand that.
Yeah, so it's not, they're not gonna give it to the rest of, there's 5 cities throughout California that are testing them. So we have.
Well, anyway, they exist. That's the thing I can't believe. We have them and they're not being used for purposes that are, it's opaque. I've been asking, what's the purpose of those cameras for, Ronnie will tell you, I used to ask every meeting.
So my sense of all this is that it's probably easier to get new ones than it is to get an agency to modify these.
Well, I think they just need to tell us what the use is for. I still want to know.
Yeah.
What's the point?
I think it's actually a good idea. I know you had, in terms of adding a crosswalk, I know you got some negative responses.
Well, I still haven't really gotten a full answer on that. I mean, the answer I was told was no. Without necessarily a rationale as to why. I understand part of the rationale is that there has to be a traffic survey. And the traffic survey has indicated, you know, if they do a full new traffic survey, they would have to increase the speed limit. Even if they increase the speed limit to 35, the average speed limit down that road is 60 to 70 to 80 miles an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, it's terrifying. It's terrifying to see people trying to, I saw one the other day trying to cross that street between El Portal and Hillcrest with a 4-year-old child trying to get across, the drivers would not stop. So it has to be addressed. And I will continue to bring it up until it is addressed.
Yeah, and I agree with you, and I think I think it could, even if this is a pilot program, I think it would be a really good idea to write Supervisor Joya's office and just say, can we be a part of this?
All right, I will follow, and then if any of you folks, the powers that be, have contacts through the CHP that do the funnels in terms of addressing these cameras, if they can be repurposed, you know, or, because I think if those cameras were installed, it's going to be CHP who has to issue the tickets.
Yes.
So.
And I just wanna know what those cameras are for. I mean, what, they put a lot of money into installing all those cameras. And what, are they helping with evacuation? Are they helping, I mean, what are they for? What are they looking for?
Do we have any CHP contacts?
We keep trying.
The thing is, we did, but the CHP has kind of dropped out of existence for a point of view of our meeting about.
That's my number one question. What are they for?
So I think a good bottom line is to continue working with Supervisor Joya's office, and I'll take it as an action.
Ryan has his hand up.
Yeah,
I think that's an answer, or is that?
No, he's waiting for his turn for public.
So I'll take it as an action item to try and suss out somebody in the CHP.
It would just seem like a camera, a speed camera would solve both problems and be a revenue producer without increasing the cost of putting in $1 million crosswalk.
Yeah, I just want to make sure everybody's aware about the May 30th community wildfire evacuation drill. I have the QR code if you want to, and so you have to sign for all these other things before you do it.
They'll actually sign you up for CWS when you register. You
Yeah.
could also say, I never did it.
So we had a question online, Ryan Lau. Ryan?
Sorry, this isn't specifically related to this speed camera topic.
Open agenda, so go ahead and come up with any
Okay,
concern.
yeah, I appreciate that. So good evening, MAC members. My name is Ryan Lau from AC Transit. Well, I have a topic about transportation. It's not about speech cameras. Did want to just provide a brief update about the future of our service. So we have an upcoming meeting Wednesday, June 10th at 5 p.m. In front of the AC Transit Board of Directors. So they recently passed kind of a framework of what, like the process that they might follow if we don't secure additional funding. But the June 10th meeting is specifically related to how the service might specifically change. As you may or may not know, we did receive a state loan that stabilized our immediate budget for this year, but we are still facing down a $200 million deficit over the next 4 years, which basically translates into a reduction of service by 15% and a job loss of 300 jobs from the agency itself. And so, we've started some worst case scenario planning because if we don't receive additional funding by, additional stable funding in general, we may have to start reducing service as soon as June 2027. And so, no specific lines are being considered right now, but we are looking at what that might look like if we have to make some very hard decisions. And the priority is definitely to preserve the current level of service, but we just want to be transparent about the challenges that we do face. So directly prior to that June 10th meeting, we have an open house so that members of the public can review the specifics of those proposals. And you can attend that meeting at 1600 Franklin in downtown Oakland, or you can go online and attend via Zoom or by phone. And we will definitely send over additional details as those become available. But did just want to communicate that service sort of update. Thank you.
Ryan, you put the details in the chat so that maybe Ronnie can.
I'm planning on following up so I can put it in the newsletter as well.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can definitely do that. Yep. Thank you, MEC members. Thank you, Ronnie.
All right, thank you for, I guess it's sort of sad news. Any further, Harry?
Yeah, maybe you could put the West County wastewater district on your next agenda. We're going through the rate study. We received a rate study and staff is proposing a rate increase. Our finances are fine. And this would be for future future maintenance and system upgrades.
So we'll have you down for agenda items for the next meeting.
Yeah, I have talked about it, so I can describe what's going on. But your sewers are in good hands.
Hopefully not, Eric, but
Please.
not in hands.
There are hands.
So I'm just curious, because I started coming to this meeting for the first time in February because my neighbor on Pebble Drive invited me. And then I found it should be really informative and I've been telling everybody ever since. And I got home that night and informed him that we're coming every month. Last month we attended on Zoom because we're stuck somewhere else. But I'm just curious, like, how do we tell people about? I've been telling everybody I know, but do you guys have a system to communicate to community members that this meeting one exists and to encourage them to attend?
So there's a Ronnie, you probably could explain the mailing list from Supervisor Joya's office.
Yeah, so on the county, on Supervisor Joya's site, there's a list of all the MACs in his jurisdiction. They all have their own separate webpage with access to the previous minutes and agendas, and also a way to sign up for email notifications. And so we send those out quite regularly for everyone that wants that information. And we also have a sign up for the newsletter.
And then this isn't the newsletter. Mickey puts this out
Yeah.
and it's adorable.
Yeah.
What is it? Well, yeah, inviting us to the meeting. And it's,
Yeah.
it's got horses in it.
So my suggestion is.
But always work.
My suggestion is go to the website.
And I have been, I'm
Get
just
all
curious,
that
like people that don't know about the website.
But what I would suggest is what you can do, what you can do as a citizen is go to the website and then email everybody you know who could be interested with the data and encourage them to sign up for alerts and to pass on the information, to people they know, but may not have been in your email.
I put it out on Nextdoor and I put it out on Facebook. But also on this card, the Saturday card, is a notification at the bottom, monthly MAC meetings for community updates are every second Wednesday. If you want to take any of these cards, circle that card if you want to, let people know about that as well.
Do you have a neighborhood newsletter or something like that, or email circular?
I mean, I got Nikki's email because we participated in the green team.
Yeah.
And I've been telling everybody and bugging people about it. I don't know if we have like flyers posted somewhere that people would happen to see. Like if they don't know about the website, would they see it on a business? Or I know maybe the Good Table had a poster that says come to the meeting, stuff like that. I was just curious, what else are we doing? Because
You guys want to print that thing that you put on Facebook? That I'll put it up.
I think more people should attend.
Just like a regular.
Yeah, I can see that regular every second Wednesday. Yeah.
So Lorna, maybe something you could put up in your, one of these cards up in PJ's.
Well, I do have these cards at PJ's. We do have a community table at PJ's. I was also thinking, given my role with the chamber, I'm not sure if we're not including already in the newsletter, we should at least include something in the newsletter.
It's.
But you have a Mac report, right? So.
Is the Zoom link the same every week?
Yeah, it doesn't change.
Okay, so that's something we could also put out as a regular thing.
Well, and if you put that in the announcement, I mean, I figured that out. And that allowed me to put it on my calendar, so I always have the link and I always know. I mean, because I already have the meeting obviously on my calendar, but people don't know, if they don't know that, they won't do that. And that's an easy way to know you could always zoom in.
So, are there any other open,
Let's just say
public
kudos, kudos, it was very, very informative.
information items from MAC members? So in that case, our wonderful subcommittee.
Our one and only subcommittee.
Yeah, so thank you to everybody who showed up for Earth Day. Unfortunately I was sick that day, so I couldn't film myself. But I heard it was pretty successful with lots of participation of people cleaning up the creeks. And normally the green team concentrates on the streets, but people seem to like to take the opportunity to get in those creeks and pull out tires or whatever trash is in there. I don't know if anybody else wants to speak about it who went. But thank you to our sponsors too, the people who provided food, like Copper Mud, I think 7 pizza. No, Copper Mud, Chicago Pizza, Mountain Mike, Starbucks, Neighbors Donuts, and Central Foods, I think, were supportive of our time this time, and we had children's art for an art table. You didn't see that, I don't know. Okay, anyway, thanks to everybody who participated in that day. Our next cleanup is, we missed one because it's coming up this Saturday, May 16th is our next third Saturday cleanup, and we're looking forward to hopefully getting a lot of volunteers, because since people concentrated more on the creeks at the Earth Day, we didn't have as many people to clean up the streets, and so there's litter out there for us to deal with. One of the things yesterday, we had a really interesting, productive meeting with people from Public Works, and they've got a Streets to Creeks campaign that they're working on that to try to raise awareness about how our litter that gets into the storm drains ends up in the bay, but and the creek, but also affects the wildlife in the area. So we were talking to them, and apparently they've got little critters around town and different businesses, little vinyl critters.
That came from an initiative from the chamber. Nicole
cool.
got that all rigged up, and that their organization creates those little things, and it has a CRO.
Yeah, about how to get more information on how to mitigate trash and different things. But we want to work with them as well to come up with a bunch of lawn signs that we could put up in front of businesses or different places where people are littering, to remind people not to litter, but also to reinforce each other's projects. And we're anti-litter, they are too. So somebody from their group is working on some designs, and we'll see if we can get made, maybe 30 to 50 of lawn signs printed up and set out in different places in English and hopefully Spanish too. So that's exciting. I hope maybe we'll have more information. We get a design, or we'll tweak a design, or not use their thing and do our own thing. But that's coming up as well. So I think that's all I have for this time.
Thank you, Mickey. And in terms of agenda items for the next meeting.
Are we not gonna announce our?
No.
Okay, never mind.
We don't know enough.
Okay, never mind.
So, in terms of agenda items. for
Well,
next-
Now I want to know.
Okay, so save the date for Saturday, June 20th, because it's our 6-month anniversary for the gym. And we're gonna do a concert and some food and lots of fun, and we're gonna raise some money, and it's gonna be really festive. And I'm actually gonna do some Sweeney Todd with Danny Duque Estrada. That alone is worth the price.
We're gonna start this third Saturday, cleanup.
It's in the evening.
Okay.
So you can after you clean up, you can go home, clean yourself up, and then come over.
Okay.
It'll be great.
The reason I wanted her to make that announcement is I'm in charge of the fundraising. Please, this just got started today.
Is there a pop-up coming up?
Yes, June 27th, there's.
And June 27th, there'll be another night market for planning justice. This is why we hadn't been quite willing to announce it exactly yet, but I did get that confirmed. So they'll have a night market on June 27th, not the following Saturday. But it's gonna be super fun with crazy stuff. It's gonna be really fun.
What, the night market or your?
Well, the night market might be too, but that's usually the people behaving crazy. Ours is gonna be organized craziness.
Okay. And one more item is that on June 14th, we're having our third flea market, open air market. So, and I'm also kind of in charge of that. So if anybody has any, if you want a vendor, see me. If you want we're getting flyers out there, so I'll be asking people to put the word out very soon.
So in that case, thank you. I can't believe it's already been 6 months.
It feels like 6 years. Florida's just ahead of me on this.
So this is like a type of relativity that Einstein didn't talk about. But
This is the part where we made time up. You know, the difference between Chronos and Kairos time. This is Kairos time. It stands still. It's like when you're having a car wreck.
so I think in terms of agenda items for the next meeting, we've got Harry would like to give a presentation on wastewater. That would be great. And I think LAFCO kind of owes us a presentation. We should consider the efforts to get them. And it would really be wonderful to get highway patrol here. Any other thoughts for agenda?
I'm gonna need to be excused from the June meeting.
Yeah, me too.
You too?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Ronnie, I need to be excused at the next meeting. Cause I'm gonna be out of town. Take it into.
It's June 10th.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll make one more announcement. On June 11th, I'm speaking at West County Forum.
All right.
And I'm having lunch at PJ's tomorrow. Anything else you want to know about my?
All right. So what I suggest is that anybody who wants to know about Belinda's calendar, so yeah, that meeting, get her.
Okay.
Three.
Is it nice? For
So Marilyn, yeah, it's Richard, yes.